Welcome back to another episode of the Miami Heat Roundtable. My name is Amir, joined today by Trent. You can find him at the Miami Heat Network. Also joined by Martel. You can find him at the Miami Heat Zone podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, so right before you begin, Amir, guys, make sure that you guys go to Amir's channel, get him to 2,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys go to Trent's channel, get him to 4,000 subscribers. Come to my channel, get us and get my channel to 4,000. And same thing with Ernest. Guys, make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the videos, support us. We're going to start to bring on even better guests as time goes on, more guests, and maybe even future Miami Heat players as well. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channels.
Thank you, Martel. So I don't want to talk about the Jimmy Butler extension today. We've been talking about that a lot. Obviously, we have different guests. We'll get their opinions on that matter, but I do want to talk about how we can improve this team because that's going to be the theme of this offseason is we're going to have to change this team. It might be drastically. Hopefully, if we can hypothetically get a Donovan Mitchell, which I don't think is going to happen, but that's our dream scenario. Who knows if we can get a Brandon Ingram as a plan B or Trey Young or whoever it may be. There's plenty of people that are going to be rumored and speculated to be on the trade block. And there's one guy specifically, I think 2 days ago, who is rumored to possibly be traded. He's in his final season with the Utah Jazz. He is former most improved player and a former All Star, Lauri Markkanen. So I think he would be an amazing addition to this Miami Heat team. Next to Bam Adebayo, I think that would be one of the best front courts in the NBA. He's 26, 27, so same age as Bam Adebayo, could stretch the floor. He can score. I think he'd be a good fit for this Miami Heat team. So, of course, we are rumored to be interested, the Lakers and a few other teams. So, just want to get your guys' thoughts just on that whole scenario. If we can't get Donovan Mitchell, would he be the plan B now, do you think, versus some of the other players that have been rumored that we're interested in? Trent, what do you think?
Um, yeah, I think Lauri Markkanen is a perfect fit next to Bam. I mean, that dude is a professional hooper. I mean, just seeing him develop and grow throughout the years is pretty fascinating to see. But the big question is to me is we got to deal with Danny Ainge, and also I do want to say is Markkanen 7 feet. That's huge right there, and we need size and we need length and stuff like that. We lack that a lot. But also he brings his shooting, and Bam can play the five, and also he can help out Bam crash and rebounds and stuff like that, spread out the floor, whatever. But anyways, the big question to me is Danny Ainge. We got to deal with him, and Danny Ainge typically tends to want to rip people off or tend to get the better offer, and that's fair. That's fair enough. There's a reason why he's one of the best. But then also we got Danny. I mean, we got Spoke. We got Pat Riley. We got Andy. So those are going to be two old off right there, going against each other, trying to get the best deal out of each other. So it's interesting to see like how would they pull it off? Like, is Tyler Hero part of that deal? Like, are we giving up Jovic, Jaime? Like, who are the Utah Jazz interested in to pull that off? And then also, like, it's kind of like a similar situation with Donovan Mitchell because, like, the Utah Jazz can be like, well, I'll give him the contract extension, and then it kind of deads it out, right? But we don't know what Utah Jazz's direction is at this moment. Like, they're just not a good enough team to even be in a plan. I think they're always going to be around that 12, 13, maybe 11, maybe 10. But Houston, came up and he was playing. They were playing a little better. So I don't know what direction they're going in at the moment. But I would love to have a Lauri Markkanen on my team. I mean, looking at his numbers, a couple of things that do stand out to me is that he's shooting 40% from the 3-point line, attempting 8 threes. That's a high clip, very, very high clip. And another thing too is like that's adding more shooting. Like if you look at our team, we don't have much shooting outside of Duncan. And when Duncan's struggling, when Duncan's dealing with injury, we don't have that 3-point threat at all. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler's not known as that guy. I mean, we've been excited to see Bam develop and expand his game and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just the big question to me. Bringing him to the Miami Heat, and personally, I think he's a plan B, and I think Murray's an A. Now you're probably gonna be like, well, what about Mitchell? Mitchell ain't coming to Miami, so that's why I'm not getting my hopes up. But yeah,
You're saying you rather have DeJounte Murray over Markkinen on this team?
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I want both. I want either or.
Who do you prefer though? Like you brought it up.
Prefer?
So yeah, who
I
do you
mean,
prefer?
I mean, like since it's like a guard heavy league, man, I gotta take DeJounte because I mean, like look who's in the finals. You got Kyrie Irving, Luka 6'7", 6'8". Look what Denver did. I mean, I know Jamal Murray's not the tallest, but they were lengthy. Gordon, KCP, like it's all about length nowadays. And I know marketing does the same thing, but just having a guard on the team makes more sense to me personally. But like I said, it doesn't matter who I have. I prefer both, but that's not how the thing goes. So I'm just going kind of my preference of DeJounte.
Yeah, Martell. So we know you've mentioned a lot in other episodes that what does Miami Heat need outside of scoring and not getting undrafted players is getting good role players that have size. But Markin is not a role player. I mean, he's a one-time All-Star. So this is adding a star. He's not a superstar by any means, but what would you prefer? And just how do you feel about just adding him and just the fit, but also the second piece? Because I know you've mentioned Plan B for Miami Heat if we don't get Mitchell is DeJounte Murray, right? So who would you prefer out of the two? But first, just thoughts on his fit and how he can help us contend.
Yeah, man. Trust me, Lauri Markkanen, he's the ideal four that you need, or five, or wherever he's really gonna play next to Bam. We need that. We need a guy that's gonna not only just open up the floor. He has that type of Chris Bosh style in terms of he can spread the floor, he can hit the midi, he can still put his back to the basket, turnaround shot. He's very versatile on the offensive end. I know he's not the best defender, but when you're in a Miami Heat system, and then when you have a 6'9" Bam and a 7 foot Lauri Markkanen, I'm not really worried about the rim. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that is it likely? No, it's because it's kind of like what Trent said. I don't even think that Laurie is even available. And even when he was available throughout the year, they were saying 4 to 5 first round picks, and that's because Danny Ainge is a thief. Now I know he likes Tyler Hero. Maybe that is where we can have some type of a middle ground. And that's really where we have to work in terms of are we going to throw in Jovic? Because think about it. If you're going to have Laurie Marketing, technically you don't necessarily need Jovic because Lauri Markkanen is what people think Jovic is gonna be. To be honest with you, that's what they think he's gonna be. So I think if you're able to put him on this roster right now, and that's what people have to realize, the Bam and Jimmy window is closing. Yes, we're gonna have Bam for the future, but if we give Jimmy Butler this contract extension, we have to go all in. There's no choice. I like Jaime, but it's like what Trent said. We can go find another Jaime in the draft, another guy that's 22 years old, who had all that time in college, who can pretty much come in and he's already has those fundamental, pieces about his game. But overall, I think if we can get a Lauri Markkanen and maybe even a Colin Sexton, I know we're gonna have to send more money out, more players out, but I just think that's what's gonna help us get that backup point guard. Because think about it, if we go all in, we won't have that 15 pick in the draft. And I know a lot of people are talking about either getting a guard or a big, but I just think in terms of also too with Plan B and Plan C and Plan D, I just think a cheaper option is definitely DeJounte Murray. 6'5", 6'6", he's a bigger guard. Great defender. He's athletic. He fits the Bam and Jimmy window, and that's exactly what we need. I just think that we need upgrades just all around the roster, and we can't necessarily just focus on a star.
So I like how you brought up Colin Sexton as like an added piece because he's a point guard. He's someone we've been interested in the past, and he can get downhill quick. He's athletic and fast, and he could score at three levels to a certain degree. So I like adding him in there, and he's also on his final year of his contract. So they're both making 18 million. So that's 36 million. Who do you think what can we do realistically to get them? Like Trent, Martell, whoever, like do we have to give up all three picks, 15 this year, two in the future, Tyler, and what else can get that done? And also, if we can't get Sexton, my second part of the question would be would you guys be willing to add Jordan Clarkson, who's making 14 million on his last year as well? So we don't get that point guard, but we get some guy who can come as our sixth man, something Tyler doesn't seem like he's willing to do, and maybe replace Tyler by trading him there, having Jordan Clarkson be our sixth man off the bench. So what do you think a realistic package would look like, Trent, to get Markkinen,
Well,
assuming Danny Ainge is not really going to try to fleece us because no one's going to trade 4 to 5 picks for almost anybody now, right? Unless it's like a superstar. So
you know, it's kind of off topic, but you know who messed up the trade market? It was Rudy Gobert
Rudy
and the
Gobert,
Minnesota
yeah,
Tim. Yeah,
and from the Jazz too, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
So they messed up that whole trade market nowadays, and a realistic trade is weird now because like you kind of expect more for good players, but a lot of these good players are going for a little bit less now. Um, that's just kind of the reality of it. I mean, just looking at like this Kyrie Irving trade, like that went for nothing, and he just brought his team to the finals with Luka. So, like you said, this is all depending if Danny Ainge is not like willing to, just be a regular person, right? I think you have to throw Tyler in there, of course. We don't need Jovic. I would try to prefer to keep Jaime, but come
Yes.
off the bench because you keep Jaime and you lose Haywood Highsmith. Now, like you're losing a lot of pieces right there alone. Like I know we get Lauri Markkanen, but now we need backups. Like Kevin Love can't do it all. So like I think you keep Jaime. So you have to throw Tyler, Jovic. I honestly I think money wise you might have to throw Duncan in there. I know you really don't want to, but you probably need to. And draft capital, of course. Or like you can switch it up, maybe try to do a sign in trade. But I don't know if like Utah is interested in Caleb or Haywood Eisman because I'm tired of Miami Heat losing people they're getting nothing out of these players. We got nothing out of Caleb. I don't know what's going to happen to Haywood. We got nothing out of Gabe and Struce. Like let's try to get something out of it. So there's some options that we can throw at him, but it has to start with Tyler. 100% has to start with Tyler. And that's where it kind of really goes. And then if Utah's like, okay, let's go to rebuilding direction, and they look at Jovic as like, okay, maybe we could turn him into another Lauri Markkanen, then he has to be part of the deal. But I'm keeping Jaime when it comes to a Lauri Markkanen trade, and even DeJounte, I'm keeping Jaime. So yeah.
Yep. How many picks though do you think we would? Do you think
Dude.
they would ask for all three? I mean, they would ask for all three, but
Yeah.
realistically, will we have to trade all three? Plus,
They're gonna
so let's say Duncan. You said Duncan, Hero, Jovic makes sense because he's going to be redundant, and then the 3 picks.
Yes.
They're gonna ask for 3 picks, but that's my problem. I don't want to give them 3 picks.
You're gonna have to, because
Why can't we give them 2?
They're taking on more salary because they're helping us clear the books. Because Duncan's 19, Tyler's 30, Jovic is 3 million. That's 53 million versus us getting 36. So that's helping us clean our books, giving us Markkanen, the all-star star that we're recruiting, right? Plus Colin Sexton as like an added bonus. So
Amir, but let me say this real quick. I think we're missing a main point. We can do the dumbest thing and the foolish thing in the world by trading for a player and not giving them a contract extension because he could possibly be a rental. If you really want to think about it, he's done. We had to pay him. We had to pay Lauri Markkanen too. So are we willing to do that too?
Without his word, and even he could take back his word.
That's
Remember DeAndre? Remember DeAndre Jordan was going to go sign with the Mavericks, and they locked him in. You know, Chris Paul and Blake locked him in the locker room, so you can't. He rescinded it, right? He said, "I agree." Mark Cuban got pissed. Like to your point, he could say, "Yeah, I'll re-sign with Miami." Then the Lakers or his dream team comes in and swoops in. You never know. That's a good point.
That's my thing, but yeah.
Martel. So thoughts on? Well, go ahead.
Listen, let's the draft is draft season, okay? We don't got to go too depth in it, but I know a lot of people are talking about Nikola Topic, and everybody involved, any name that has Nikola in it, they think it's going to be a stud because of freaking Jokic, okay? So everybody thinks they're going to be a stud, but Topic, if you guys didn't know what happened, I know a lot of Miami Heat fans on Twitter are like, "Oh my goodness, he's going to come to Miami." He partially torn his ACL. Now, I looked at the recovery time; it's 3 months. It's not full blown, but it could take 3 months, but it's going to take
That's it.
Yeah, partially torn. Yeah, I looked it up. 3 months. Now, maybe the internet's lying to me. I don't know. It said 3 months to recover. But the thing is, to me, is Spo will be the type of dude, okay, he's coming off that recovery. He would not even play his rookie season. And this is why, like, I don't even want to really gamble on that because, like, I feel like we need our young players playing. I mean, look at Jaime, his first year. Like, he played really, really well. We held back Jovic for a long time. He's finally getting playing time. He should be getting more playing time. And that's what we're going to do to this next pick. So if we're going to take Topic, let's take him in the second round if he even falls to that pick. Because don't forget, we got 2 picks. Let's not forget about that. I think it's 15, correct? 15, we got to take somebody that is going to help this team now. Because at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler's still on the roster, and Jimmy Butler still wants to compete. So if you're going to get a rookie that's going to help you out now, you don't get Topic because he's not going to be ready for this season. So for everybody that want to talk about drafting Topic, it's a cool story. You're thinking about the future, and that's fine. But just know we're going to be waiting for a while for him to play because Spo,
Yeah, he doesn't like playing rookies unless he's forced to do that. And, there's random guys like a Kendrick Nunn would be thrusted into the starting lineup. Jaime, obviously, because of injuries and whatnot. So unless they're like a lottery pick, like a Beasley back in the day, or obviously D Wade. But if you're not a lottery pick, if you're not a top 15 pick, there's no guarantee. Bam Adebayo was 14. He was riding behind Whiteside, right? Tyler Hero was 13 or whichever, right? I forgot which one was. I think Bam was 13, Hero was 14. Either way, he was coming off the bench too, right? Like, so anyway,
Wait, hold
I
on.
do think
Quick question though, real quick, because we always see like everyone commenting this like on our comments. What's your Donovan Mitchell package? Because you don't want to give up 3 first-round picks for Lauri. What's your Donovan Mitchell? What is your Donovan Mitchell package?
Well, my Donovan Mitchell
everybody.
my Donovan Mitchell page is right now. I'll tell you right now. Get Tyler off my team. Get Jovic off my team. Get Jaime off my team. Throw 7 first-round picks if you really want to. Get Donovan Mitchell on my team and give him a super max contract extension and go. Because you got to realize, right? When Jimmy's done, you got to think about, okay, what's the next chapter? It's Mitchell and Bam.
Yes.
Bam can recruit players because Bam is just very well known. He's in Team USA. They like him. He has a lot of friends. Like, I know people don't like the Celtics, but what if Tatum, like, you don't know anything. Like, Tatum and Bam are best friends. Like, stuff happens. So that's your next future. Now you just look for that third guy again. So that's why I'm willing to offer all that. I don't care for Tyler. I really don't care for Jovic. I get the hype, but I don't really care for him, to be honest with you. Jaime is cool. I think we can replace him. This year's draft, 2025 draft, I know you guys don't pay attention to it. That's a really good draft. So like there's positions to replace these guys with. It's simple as that. And then also when it comes to the first round picks, some of these first round picks don't land as what you really want them to be at the end of the day sometimes. So I'm throwing the bag at him, and I'm throwing him a super max if he's even eligible to get it. So he's staying on Miami until time is done.
Okay.
Shit, Trent will trade Spo for Donovan Mitchell. It sounds like
Hell no. Because
they need a new coach. Hey, they need a new coach. Here's the package, Cleveland.
Listen,
right?
Listen, Spo's my guy. He's always gonna be there. I thought he was questionable this year, but it's cool. But what's his name, man? Big Tone, man. Big freaking Tone, man. Listen, my boy. We can have a debate. We can have a talk. I'm ready for all this smoke. I was listening to what you were saying. I'm ready whenever you're ready about Jimmy Butler, about Miami Heat and all this stuff. I have all my stuff ready, man. So whenever you're ready, man, let us know. I think that'll be a very, very fun episode. Just call them out publicly.
And then real quick before we close, let's just forget all the names. Would you guys rather have a guard or a big in the draft? Because I know that there's Zach Edey, and then there's Khalil Ware, and then there's Devin Carter. So for you guys, like, which one do you guys think would fit this team better, a guard or a big?
You want to go, Amir?
I mean, I'd rather address a big separate from this question, going back
to we need players that are going to be ready right now. Because like it's kind of like what Trent said. If they're not ready right now, they might not play.
But how many are actually truly ready? Like besides the dude from Golden State, besides
some are. Okay, they can fit the Miami Heat system better than other players. So what I mean by that is, like, let's say that they're small or they're slow or they're overweight or they have these flaws where they got to go to the G League for extended periods of time. Like, okay, like getting a guy like Nikola, looking at him from when we drafted him, he looked like a project. There's some guys that they're going to be a project, but they won't take the whole season to develop. You see what I'm saying? So I think if we're going to go all in and if we're not going to make that trade draft night, we got to get a player that's somewhat ready.
Listen, let me tell you something. I honestly think when it comes to the big position, we're cursed. Okay, Cody Zeller, garbage. Dwayne Dedmon, garbage. Thomas Bryant, mid. Orlando Robinson, okay, didn't get the opportunity, and there's a reason why he didn't get the opportunity. When it comes to the big opportunity, when it comes to bigs, I really have no hope at this moment, especially when it comes to backup big. Everybody wants to go off Zach Edey. Everybody wants to go after another big, but he's going to get taken before we even
Khalil Ware?
Yeah, Khalil Ware. He's going to be taken. The best thing about this draft is that there's role players they're already here. Like, they're already going to be role players for a team, and that's what you like. There's not stars. Like, even the number one pick, like, I don't even think he's going to be a star in this league. I really don't. But there's a bunch of role players, and that's what the Miami Heat are looking for, okay? So when it comes to bigs, I'm kind of I don't know what we're going to do with that. I really don't. I don't know what we're going to do. I want Andre Drummond. If we can get him on the minimum, cool. But I'm looking at it as a guard. And the reason why I'm looking at a guard is because this dude, Terry Rozier, was out for damn near the freaking whole season with a neck injury. Just imagine something else. Imagine like if is he ever gonna come back 100% from that injury? I thought it's just a neck injury, but now we just never know at this point because there's no reason he should have missed the whole postseason
No,
at all.
at
So
all.
I don't know what's going on with that. You know, think about it. Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, when we had that guard, those two guards, you need two guards out there. You need two guards or just a backup, whatever the case may be. You need that. So I'm looking at guard. I'm looking at 1-2. I need some scoring options. Because if Jimmy's not going to try during the regular season, we need some scoring options. That big is not going to be a scoring option. He's going to help us, but we need some scoring options because we just don't have that. I understand, but we got Tyler. Man, Tyler, I'm not even going to say that, but you get what I'm trying to say. So I'm looking at a guard.
I'm looking at big though because they're
I
a
agree.
dime a dozen. So it's like there's no guarantee we're gonna get anybody like in the draft, like a Kalel or whatever. I haven't done my research yet. I don't watch college, and I know we have a few weeks left till the draft time, so I'll brush up on that. But Kalel Ware, obviously, Zach Edey, Filipowski, a few other dudes. Like, who knows what they're going to really contribute immediately or if they're going to be a good pick. But look at the bigs across the league. There's not that many good bigs. There's way more guards. There's way more wing players that are stars in the NBA compared to bigs. Bam Adebayo is a top 4 guy because there's not many centers out there or power forwards that are elite outside of the Jokic's and Embiid's, and I'll throw AD in there, even Carl Anthony Towns, who I think Bam is better than. There's like 7 or 8 guys that are good, that are big. So, or maybe 10 max across power forward and center. So I think we take a shot at a rookie that's big because we can get someone through trade market that's a backup point guard or starting point guard in the future.
We
So
don't trade. We don't trade. We don't trade.
what do you mean we don't trade?
Man, we don't trade, man. That Terry Rozier shade was shut up. That was a shut up trade. They don't trade.
Well, still better than I'm still happy we did that versus keeping Kyle Lowry.
Yes, because then Kyle Lowry would have left for nothing, and everybody would have been pissed off.
No, I agree. But
Unless we got DeJounte, that would have been better. Sure, if we got
Yes.
DeJounte for Kyle, that's good. But like
Yes,
Terry would have gone somewhere else, and like it was slim pickings at that point. Like I'll take a 29-year-old Terry Rozier that took time for him to fit in, but he's capable. He's a guy who can create his own shot, and that's what we desperately
That's what we-
needed against the Celtics,
no,
especially with Jimmy out. Like we could have had a little shot. Like Boston had the luckiest path to NBA Finals history. It seems like yes, we stole a game by hitting like 73 pointers, which was like a franchise playoff record. But even if we had at least Terry and a healthier Duncan, I think we
yes,
could have taken it to 6. I mean,
yes.
against Celtics, because look at them. They don't look indestructible like we thought they did, but who knows? Let's finish with this real quick because we haven't had basketball in however many days, 6 days. We still have 2 more days, right? I think till the finals are on Friday. So
No, it's tomorrow.
it's tomorrow? Oh, thank God. I miss basketball. What are your predictions? Who do you guys think is going to win the finals? I know who you want to win the finals, but do you think Boston's going to pull it off? Because I know they're the better team on paper.
Man,
What do you think?
Boston's pulling it off in 6.
Yeah, they could because don't get me wrong though, Dallas, they're kind of like the 2011 Dallas. You know what I'm saying in terms of they have a very good team. They might not have like the greatest players outside of Luka and Kyrie, but I still think the reason why they clicked, and this is something that you can't underestimate. It's like what the Miami Heat did. When you get good role players or just role players that fit your system, fit your team, and fit your best players, you cannot underestimate that by any. Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, Lively, they've been great for that roster. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think that the Boston Celtics, they are very weak minded mentally, and they really haven't been battle tested the whole way through. There's really no way of stopping Luka and Kyrie, but they could probably slow them down. There's a lot of bodies that they could throw. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday. So it's really going to come down to matchups. But I don't count out Dallas. I think that Luka is a monster compared to Tatum. I think Tatum doesn't really show up at times. He's been carried by this all-star team that he has, especially throughout the playoffs. That's just me though.
What's your prediction? Politician answer right there.
I
Didn't
would
even
say
answer the
no. I
question.
would say probably Mavs in 6. Mavs in
Fair
6.
enough. Fair
Probably that's okay. Well, I think Mavs and I thought you were going to go the other direction based on your soliloquy. But I'm going to say Mavs in 7 just because I hate Boston and not being biased because I picked Boston in 5 against the Heat. I just don't want them to win. I hope they don't win, and I think Luka and Kyrie are good enough as long as they can carry the team offensively. I think they can win in 7. It's gonna be hard because they have to win on the road. They're gonna have to steal home court advantage, but we'll see. KP's coming back, and he's a good player, right? Boston
And
didn't
don't
need him.
underestimate Kyrie. Don't forget how great he's been and how good he is, and his experience in the NBA Finals and all of his experience in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's the second champion, I guess, that is on that floor. I mean, Drew Holiday on the other end, but Drew Holiday contributed, but not as much as Kyrie. Kyrie was number 2 to LeBron. Drew Holiday was like number 3 on that team behind Giannis and Middleton. Don't get me wrong, Drew Holiday is a champion and obviously played really well, but Kyrie is a different animal right now. So they each got one guy that's won one championship, but we know Luka is trying to solidify his legacy right now as a 25-year-old. And if he can win a championship right now, he can have an amazing career, obviously, which we know he will. But that'll be huge for Luka to win a championship in year 5 at this age, carrying the team, carrying the torch for the former champions of the Dallas Mavericks back in the day. So, anyway, that's all we have for today's episode. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. So before I hop off again, make sure you guys do like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. Trent, you can find him at Miami Heat Network. Martel, Miami Heat Zone Podcast. Ernest, who's not here, hopefully we'll see him soon. He is at Miami Heat Talk. And then me, of course, my team to beat Miami Heat. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.